industry, we never really know what happens behind the scenes. We don't really speak to the actresses in that type of way. And that is what I want to do. So we're going to go throwback, we're going to go middle, and we're going to go new. When I say throwback, there's no way you do not know who this is. Like, so we have Miss Shannon Esra over here. Do I really need to even say what shows? Me, Isidingo. This is where I first met my hand.
Back in the day.
And we were all there from the beginning till the end. And this side, I'm so happy to have you here, my baby.
Thank you for having me.
We did a show together many, many moons ago.
Yeah.
And I was even myself on that show.
Yes.
And she was with me, and it was my first time on that set, and she was just magical, inviting. And it was just so much fun.
Thank you.
And then we have the new. This is my little baby here. We met on set. And I knew when I wanted to do this that I wanted to do it with even my first episode with somebody who I've worked with, who I'm so comfortable with, and I know who's like super supportive. And also not even that, my girl's on stage. My girl's on stage, which is like super, super hard in this industry. So I just wanted to bring us all here together just to talk about the industry, talk about what we think others should know, what we wish for ourselves, and just the ups and downs, and just literally just us chatting. There's no platform where women actresses just sit and chat and laugh with each other. So for those of you who do not know, ma'am, was this Dingo your first job?
My first professional job?
No. Your first job?
No.
What was
no,
your
it was,
first job?
I was a TV presenter for an SABC One show called Super Kids for 2 seasons. Now, I'm not a presenter.
Yes.
But that was my first job. And then my first like cinematic theatrical was I Dreamed of Africa, which I shot in 1998.
My gosh.
With Kim Basinger and Daniel Craig and the late Lance Reddick and Connie Shum. The late Connie was on there.
Wow.
That was my first, that was a month in Hlahluwe shooting, and going back to school, I was like, oh, this is stupid. I need to learn maths. What are we talking about?
Because tell me, what are you doing with pi in your current life right now? Pi squared, what does that help you in your current life right now? You're saying you're doing math?
As you literally said it to me, but my brain was like, pie. Well, I don't eat pie. I was like, oh, she means pie. I was like, nothing.
Which is what I love about our jobs. It will make you...
I can barely do arithmetic.
Our job will say, hi, 25-year-old woman, here's a uniform.
Yeah.
We want you to pretend like you're 17.
Yeah.
But I think there are careers that require mathematics, but I knew that I was never... all my maths teachers were like, shame, she's never...
That's that girly.
Yeah, me too.
Shame.
Yeah,
Maybe
shame.
You shouldn't do it on high grade. I was like, no, I'm going to do it on high grade. And the fact that I got a D, a 56% on higher grade maths, I'm still like, did we do that?
No, that means you would have passed maths lit really well.
Yes.
I would have aced
Yeah.
it.
Yes,
Would have
yes,
aced
yes. Ma'am, what was your first job? Did you have a job before the fame?
I did. So I got found by Mandla N through doing this music video. I just happened to do it by mistake. And he was just like, no, man.
And
why?
he
was
talent.
like, no, man, you have to start acting. So I would do like feature roles on Swazi-born and stuff. And then, so I used to study at AFTA and we were doing a theater piece. And the producer of Rhythm City happened to be watching. And then she came back and she's like, we want you on Rhythm City. And that was my first job.
Awesome.
Do you guys see how this can happen?
Yes.
How this can happen? You just minding your business, just busy. In the background of somebody's music video, somebody says, that star is shining so bright, I need it.
Yeah.
Like, this is how it can, I'm not saying that's how it always happens. This is a very hard industry. And if you have an opportunity to study and prepare yourself, you should. But I'm saying that because this is such a love thing, somebody who does it for a living can see the love in somebody else and be like, come here.
Yeah.
I think that you can thrive here.
Right.
Ma'am, my little vendor princess.
Yes. My first job. It was in 1998 as well. but it was a TV show called Small Talk, and I was in grade 2. And that was my first job.
That's wild.
You've been making that pay. You've been clocking that 12 hours.
And you were so young.
I was literally a baby girl. So.
What, grade 2, like
Grade 2,
7?
7 turning 8, yeah.
Wow.
And I was one of those kids, and you know that shows like kids say the darndest things.
Yes.
So they ask you things, and yeah.
Yes. I always say, what do you think is your breakout role, or do you think you haven't even gotten your breakout role yet?
Well, what does breakout role mean? What do you mean by breakout role?
Okay, we'll say the one where all of a sudden you have 10,000 followers and then you go to 20,000 followers.
Oh, is that the measurement now? Is that the yardstick?
No,
That's
obviously
just
follower increase because more people have eyes on you.
Yeah,
But that
okay.
role that's 8 o'clock on Monday to Friday, everybody's in their seats
Okay,
watching you.
so it's the external breakout as opposed to the one that like shifts you as an artist. It's not okay.
Oh no, we'll get there.
Me?
Yes.
I think Mubango, definitely. Yeah. I played Ranganani, and I was playing like the chief's almost new wife, but I was like too much for the new world, and they were very traditional, and that was it.
Okay. Have that.
I think for me it was 2 shows. It was How to Run Christmas and Adulting. Externally, because you said we should speak about the external. I think that's when things started to change, where I also found my confidence. You know, just walking in a room, I knew who I am and that I belong in the space, as opposed to being intimidated by everybody else.
Imposter syndrome will eat you alive.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think it's those 2 shows.
Internally, what show, what interaction, what sound, what smile made you be like, this, I want to try this. I want to act. I want to be on TV. I want to be on stage.
I just knew it's what I wanted to do. There wasn't an exact, I mean, once you are on a film set, everything else feels quite serious and not magical. But I've known that it was just, I've always said it was just bigger than me. Like I felt like if I didn't do it, I'd die.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It's not like
The love thing. Like
no,
you love.
it's that it calls to you and you can't help but listen. And if you don't listen, it's like you're lying. It's like you're not even being authentic about yourself. You know, it is. It feels so much bigger.
I feel like you even fail at everything else that you try to pursue.
No, like you can't because you actually don't even want to.
Yeah,
It feels
yeah.
like you
Passion and-
just doesn't feel integral
I
or
was studying a
true.
whole marketing degree. I was working in a bank.
Yeah.
Oh no, you fought against that tide, and then your arms got tired. You're like,
I was working in Richards Bay in a bucky every day with a computer.
Wow.
That's how far I was from this world. And you, man?
Sorry, what's the question again?
What was the moment? Did you always know? Was there a moment on stage?
No, yeah, I always knew. My parents said that I had so much energy when I was growing up. So by 4 or 5, I was already in extra drama lessons on weekends.
Yeah.
Lambda exams and all of those things, and doing Eisteddfods and poems and you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So they said I had too much energy, and then they honed all my energy into that. So it was only natural that the progression would be for me to carry on with it. Yeah.
And I don't know why I tried to run, because I literally grew up in market theatre. I literally grew up in museums.
Yeah.
Like, I've got a uber famous family, so I don't know what I thought I was trying to do. And you know, thank you, Ms. Malinkosi, because she just said to me, just go to I was leaving my corporate job. She's like, just go to you used to do modeling when you were in high school, right? I'm like, yeah. She goes, just do that while you find a good fit for you in this corporate space that you are pursuing. Zaralas.
Yeah, but we all have a journey.
It
We
was
all.
first audition. First, I was just like, okay.
Yeah.
But that's you lying to yourself so hard. Yeah. I want to know, everybody wants to go to America. Everybody wants to get a big role and go to America. What are your takes and feelings about that? Negative, positive?
I think it's great. America is the first world country. So naturally, you're going to get paid more. You're going to be exposed more. You know, it's just a world of opportunities, as opposed to us just like just like limiting ourselves here in South Africa. You know, I feel that we're affected a lot by everything that happens in America or in the first world countries. I mean, writers stopped writing, and then next thing, our film industry just went like quite silent, you know, because there was striking that in the first world countries. So I just think it's a great opportunity where you won't be like limited to many things.
So look, as someone who lived in Los Angeles for 6 years,
Yeah.
you're not auditioning with 20 women. You're auditioning with thousands. And as foreigners, that can be quite hindering. So you got to make sure that your paperwork is up to scratch. And I don't mean just like having your O1, because there's certain studios that don't even recognize certain visas. So you've got to make sure that you get all of that stuff in line. Because when you're sitting, and you know, it's great if you've got management, and I was very lucky. I did have I still have a very wonderful relationship with her. You know, you're getting into rooms and you're meeting with casting directors from Grey's Anatomy. You're meeting with heads of ABC. You're taking all these meetings. But there are thousands of women sitting outside.
Sure.
And it is such an incredible opportunity, and it will certainly, if you feel that is something that you have to do, I say to anybody, I'm like, go and do it, because you don't want to be at the end of your life going, well, I didn't do that, and now I'll never know. But for anyone who does want to, you have got to be prepared for how very, very hard and how very lonely it can feel, and it will test you and it will change you, and that's also part of the process as well.
Yeah.
But just make sure your paperwork is just
sorted.
make sure that your paperwork is sorted, so that is not a hindrance. Because seeing the thousands of women who are just as talented, possibly even more, it's a real thing.
There's so many like little red tape things that you don't think about.
No, there's
That
lots.
you can be
I didn't think
like,
about
And it's an incredibly litigious society.
Yeah.
And now the America that I went to in 2009, I went just after the SAG-AFTRA strike. So I always said, I was like, I was ready for Hollywood, but Hollywood wasn't ready for me. I was just so foolish and naive, but it made it, all the movie stars had now started doing television. So any newcomers, they weren't even interested in seeing it, because it's about who's attached to a show. The politics, it is show business.
Politics.
It is all about who's attached, who's who. So it was incredibly daunting. But the America of 2009 versus the America of 2025, I would be reticent to say to any young actress, go now. Because why are we abandoning our South Africa? Why can't we get our industry to where, let's say, the Slavic television, so why can't we do that? Why can't we elevate? Why are we always striving for this?
Why can't we do both then?
We can.
I think we can do
We
both.
can
but the
invest into
problem-
both.
It's like what we spoke about earlier on. There's so many gatekeepers to a point where I will come up with an idea, like how Tessa has come up with this fabulous idea. Go speak to Shonisani about it and say, hey, could we do this job? She says yes. She comes and she speaks to you, and you just like, no. Do you understand? There's
I understand the gatekeepers.
So many gatekeepers where it's just like, man, I don't want to do this anymore, because what's up? Like, just open room for new people or for new ideas, you know? So you just end up
But we have to kick the doors down as
by
a collective.
force.
I was
have
saying earlier to her, I'm like, it almost seems like the boys' club could be dying. It almost seems like the boys' club could be dying. I think that is where a lot of our doors are. That you kick ass in this audition. Everybody's like, yes. But the one person who still needs to give you that tick says, yeah, but don't you want to go for lunch? That has now changed.
Exactly.
That has now flipped everything.
Yeah.
But I feel like in the state of LA, I feel like in Hollywood, that is a million times worse.
Yeah.
I feel like our casting couch there is
Yeah.
a warehouse.
Yeah.
But you know what as well is, there are producers and there are heads of studios, and now the streamers, the streaming services have completely changed with the what Hollywood is, how it looks, how it functions. We have to create spaces that are not just limited to one or two services here. Like there are also people in what we do as we have a creative industry, right?
Yes.
But it is still a business. But you'll know when you work with a producer who's fixated on the bottom line versus a producer who is fixated on creative flow. For the most part, I find we've got producers who are just interested in the money.
Yeah.
And it's for them. It's not necessary for everyone else who's working for them. And I'm like, we need to all lean
Get a
in.
house at the end of the year, a house cash and a car cash at the end of the year, but people haven't been paid.
Well, that's all. It's like, I can't get my second home in France. And you're like, what? Like, you've got actors who can't even pay for the Uber to get to the casting. There's something really backward about it in our industry. We're not supporting each other as creatives who do this because it calls.
Yes.
I always, this is a love thing. So
Yeah.
we all know that this is a love thing. So
And
why
it's
are
to
we
tell
all
stories.
And it's the integrity behind it. If you are really focused more on the bottom line than you are on the actual.
But then why didn't you
creative
go into
project.
finance?
Exactly. Where you don't actually need to, see it through.
Yeah.
But creatively, I think it's really important to have producers who are actually invested in the story as well, and not just, be the money guy.
I had a show that what we shoot on Monday is going on air on Wednesday. That's how they were cutting it.
That is stressful.
That's how they were cutting it.
What? That is stressful.
Everybody went on holiday for December. They didn't have episodes to make it to January.
What are you saying?
They had to cancel the show. You know that one's what. They had to cancel the show. And then you find out, oh, this one bought that side, a BMW, this one bought
But how does it? I find it difficult
We even
to
didn't have
even
lunch
laugh
the one
about
time.
that.
Yeah.
We didn't have lunch the one time because the pots on set were stolen.
What?
Please stop it. I'm like, this is a parody. This we should make.
I'm sorry for laughing.
Well, it's either laugh or cry or die,
They
right?
had to get us some Nando's because the pots were stolen. I was like, I'm like, there's definitely some insurance.
Something's going
There's
on.
some insurance. Something.
Oh my gosh, jeez.
You were saying earlier that we have so many great stories. And it really pains me that we just talk about the taxis, We just talk about taxis and violence.
Yeah.
And we have so many, like Shaga right now is showing us that we can tell our stories at this level. And
Authentically.
why aren't we telling our stories at this level? And it doesn't necessarily even have to be cultural stories. I always say, it upsets me that TikTok doesn't pay South African creators because we are hilarious.
Oh, we are.
We are
South
hilarious.
Africans have such a robust,
are
resilient sense of humor. We have to.
Like we have to.
Either you cry, laugh, or die.
We are so creative. And I'm just like, if we were actually given the time, the money, and the opportunities to like, this little idea that you have sounds so good. Let this plant the seed and it grow.
Yeah.
And it not be, when you watch a show, it's always going to be the same producers, always going to be the same production houses.
Yes.
It's always going to be the same sort of storyline.
And then you feel like you're watching the same damn
And
story.
the same actors.
Well, here's
You watch something at 7 and then you watch something else at 8 and you're like, is this not the same thing?
Yeah, that's also because a lot of the shows are written by the same writers.
Yes, that's also
But what's
true.
also what I'm finding is becoming very troublesome, and it's been for a while now, is how siloed our industry's become. It's Zulu for Zulu, Xhosa for Xhosa,
I was literally
Afrikaans for
about to ask
Afrikaans. White English-speaking actors, where do we go?
Yeah.
Where do we go?
Yeah.
There is so much. There is such a divisive nature that has now started to permeate on our screens. When we walk around South Africa, wherever you go, you will see a melting pot of different colored people. Whether you're a dark-skinned black woman, whether you're a light-skinned black woman, whether you're an English-speaking white person, or you're a redhead, or you're male, female, like you can see the whole world, and it's colorful, right? When last did you see that on our screen?
Yeah. I was literally about to
When last did you hear
I was-
it? I remember, look,
yeah.
if I'm listening to someone speaking Venda, I know it's Venda because it just sounds incredibly mellifluous, and it's very different from what we'll Zulu, what we'll hear or Tswana. But for the most part, everything is sounding the same, looking the same, and I'm just like, when did we lose that beautiful, nuanced, individual sense of representing us as South Africans on screen.
Literally,
Because
one
Issy
of my
Dingo
questions-
did it very, very well back in the day, and that was like a trailblazer.
Right. I think Issy Dingo and City Sesla, not Sestopla, City Sesla.
Sesla, yeah.
It had everybody.
Was it also Suburban Bliss? It used to be my favorite show.
Like, so where do English-speaking Indians go, or where do the color? Like, we don't see that kind of representation of our everydayness anymore, and that is devastating as a storyteller. Because you can't tell me, no, this is just a black story. No, this is just a white. No, this is just an Afrikaans story. No, this is just a Xhosa. Why aren't we just telling the stories? We have such beautiful voices. Beautiful voices.
That's why I was like, have you done Afrikaans shows? Because
My
Guys.
Afrikaans is so baie kak.
guys, we
kan
need
nie.
to.
Yeah.
Because before we were all mixing with each other and making amazing shows. So why is it that, oh no, this is just a Zulu show?
Yeah, siloed.
Yeah.
It's true.
And it's devastating
And it's
because you know
numbers.
what it does?
They say
it
numbers.
limits creativity.
Yes, it does.
I am because you are. I mean, I don't mean to sound trite, but really, that is who we are as South Africans. We were the rainbow nation. What color's the rainbow now? I'm like, I don't know, man, but it's kind of like, it's feeling like it's in a gutter and it's a bit dusty and it's looking a little, someone help it. It needs help.
Brush it out.
Yeah, where? We need
And it
resuscitation.
stifles our ideas as well, and what stories we can
Because
tell.
you can only work within this tiny little parameter.
Exactly. And
How
they
is
don't say
that
numbers.
art?
Yeah.
Because the thing is, if you watch the streaming services, if there's one thing that they do, even though it looks terrible, Telemundo. They dub everything because they are trying to, get.
Well, because it is cheaper to license it out and then to dub it than it is to create something new. Because what's happened now is originality is frowned upon. Let's just remake the remake of the remake.
Yeah.
Because
cost-effective.
I love our industry so much. I love us so much. But as you're saying, when America got quiet, we got quiet. Why?
Because we're a collective.
Why do we-
Because we're
why
all
are we-
connected.
Like, we'll make comedy their comedy. And then we'll be like, this isn't funny.
Yeah.
Because
We have
don't
our own
laugh
sense of humor.
at their jokes. We don't get
We
their
laugh
jokes.
at our jokes and our
Yes.
stupidity.
And
so
our-
why aren't we working towards that? You know, it's like what you were saying with like the TikTok. They are hilarious. They are. I can't believe it. So it's just like, why is it not on TV? But now, actors, I've realized there's like a few thespian groups I'm in, right? And I've realized that actors are starting to get upset that a lot of do I call them influencers or TikTok creators are getting acting jobs? Because they're like, but you're not an actor. And it's like
going back to
Yeah,
the
we've
bottom line.
trained. We've
It's
trained.
going back to
eyeballs.
the bottom
Yeah.
line.
Eyeballs.
So it's like a serious fight in these groups
It
where
is.
it's just like, okay, guys, okay, wait. I hear where everybody's coming from, but I also do want to say, but we're trained for this.
But also, like, you can have and there are some really talented content creators out there. I am not one of them. I am someone who likes to be in a character. I want to be in a show. I want to play. I want to discover. I want to unpack.
TikToks all that, but I'm like, but I like.
I like
But I
acting.
like, yeah.
I'm not here to be myself.
Yeah.
Who I am in private, and that's very, very different.
It's so different.
I don't know that I have it. I don't care. I want to make the stories that you spend years creating a beautiful TV series, and we can't get the gatekeepers to look at it.
Yeah.
And then my thing is, we're not even saying, it's not even like nobody's allowed to get into this industry.
Oh, no,
No, but just know that it's
Just
hard.
like,
It's
okay,
not.
can we have
Balance.
people who know what's going on?
Yeah, the scales are
Yes,
way
and-
off.
And then, because I won't lie, when I got here, I was so nervous. I'm like, I'm going to disappoint everybody. I don't know what I'm doing. I even said in the costume, like, I'm just a girl who talks a lot. Oh my God. You know? And I was like, okay, December comes, I'm going to study, I'm going to go to Afton. And everyone was like, I was baby, and they were like, shut up. We're here.
Yeah.
Listen to us.
Yeah.
Watch us. If you have a question, ask us. We're years after.
Yeah.
In front of you.
Yeah.
Ask.
No, but that's
Okay.
also school of life.
Yes.
That's
And if you surround yourself with,
that's literally
if you
just what I did
surround
my
yourself
first
with
year.
talented,
Just
smart
ask
people,
just
Yes.
ask. And lucky
Yes.
enough, the first year I had that, and I was just like, questions. And then I did Ring of Lies, which again was an amazing group of people.
yeah.
And they were all just
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
And I was like, give it to me. Teach me. Teach me.
Great production.
we'll never stop learning.
I always say I love me some questions.
Yeah.
I love me some
I
questions.
do too, and I think that's why I always surround myself with people who are like much older than me. I call them the oldies, like your Clementines and Desmond Dube. I call him dad because I always like to sit and understand, you know, and learn. As opposed to when we just chill together. Look, I can learn from you, but you haven't gone through the school of life like they have.
We're on the same.
Because the times were they were quite
They're
different.
I mean, I was
And the
about to
struggles were
mention,
different.
Remember when they were on the Felicia Mawisa show?
Oh my God,
And they were
Felisa
all-
Mawisa Sato.
Subtle.
And they,
She's living in America.
Yeah, now she's living her best life.
she's living best life. But like the actors were fighting at that time.
Yeah.
You know, like people who are on Generations and stuff, they're like, why aren't you paying us? They're fighting with the producers and the directors, and they're like, you guys don't see us. But when an American person comes or an international person comes, you respect them enough to give them trailers and you pay them enough money. Why are we still dealing
Because
with
we don't
the
have
same
a
thing
because we
now?
don't have a regulated industry.
Yeah.
That's
Petrol attendants and domestic workers have more regulation than
Than
our
we do.
very own
and
industry.
we go.
Yeah.
We walk to the union buildings. We strike. We flood petitions.
Are you with Saga?
Send emails.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. We send emails. We do everything, and it's like, oh well, maybe we'll talk about that like next year.
Yeah.
Because we've been pushing this.
But they don't want to regulate.
Because
Ooh, the royalties charge
That's when you
also.
sit and
Yeah.
that's your last. You're watching your show play in Tanzania that you shot 6 years ago.
A show on Shannon
You get
Esra
monitors
came back on TV now. And what? That's 7 years ago. And it just got back on TV now. It's like 236 episodes, like, and you're
gosh,
thinking, I'm
that's
not
a
going
lot.
to see a dime.
Dime.
No, you're not. I also still, like, you know when you just go past and you're like, oh, hey, that's me. And you're like, damn, this was shot like years ago.
Yeah.
Where's the money?
Yeah.
Where is the
There's
money?
no money.
Because
But
universally,
they're making
any other actor will be compensated due
Yeah.
to royalties.
Yeah. And the thing is, I even wanted to, like, when I wrap this up now,
Yeah.
money. So much of our money, effort, and time goes into this because how important do you guys think an agent is? Do you think an agent is
No, you must have an agent.
You have to
You
have
must.
an agent.
They must negotiate for
Someone
you.
needs to look out
Listen
for
to
you.
people
Yeah.
talking about
Yeah.
PR and managers.
Yes, management I think is important.
But you see,
they're
those
all
ones you can
important.
kind of,
yeah, you
finesse.
can kind of. But agents,
you need
that
an
is like,
Yeah.
You know what?
Some of
Someone that has your back,
But also-
and that wants you to succeed. And that's also maybe not trying to be super famous too.
yeah.
No, well, I always say you either want to be great or you want to make an impact. So rather make an impact. If you're here to be famous, go be an influencer. Really, it's the least It's the least
We were
interesting
supposed to be
thing
like,
about our
there's
career.
agents,
The
Anna.
least interesting
And
thing.
you're like, why are you here?
You're trying to get a job. There's your agent.
Yeah.
But also in
Yeah,
terms of
actually,
PR or management, like just be good at your job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just be professional.
Yes.
Arrive on time. Know your lines.
Yeah.
Like, have a really decisive idea of where you want to go. That is the best place to start.
Yeah.
And then just listen, just receive it.
Yeah.
It's what we're doing. We're making things up. We make magic.
Yeah.
What a great
Yeah.
job that is.
And respect everybody. Respect everybody.
Everyone.
In front, behind the scenes.
But also
listening to
respect
those people.
respect yourself.
Yes.
You know,
Oh, that's
arrive.
really important.
Arrive.
Self-
On
Concept.
time or
And
prior.
also, but also no. Somebody who said it was a post about not on our industry, but the models. Models were doing some international hair campaign, but they were doing it for like below 10. And all the girls were like, "How are you
Below
doing an
10K?
How are you doing an international campaign with a massive brand
Yeah.
for that amount of money?
Because that's what they can pay now.
You're gonna knock us. You're gonna make them think that that's the kind of money. They're
Because
gonna take
those are the
us.
usages that are decided upon.
Yeah.
you're
And
such a
somebody's going to
president.
take them.
Yeah.
And then now they know this one we can get it for 10 rand.
Wait, sorry. Now that you
And as long as they keep saying yes, they'll keep
Then
paying
it's
that.
done.
have you noticed how the ads, they don't pay anymore?
Yeah,
the
they
usage
don't.
fee
Yeah.
is
Because the
ridiculous.
usage
What do you
fees
mean? What do you
aren't
mean
even
12,000
calculated on
rand for 24
75% of
months?
the call
Yeah.
rates.
Yeah, true.
Sometimes not even 50%.
Where do you get the
and this is a
75%?
body of
What is
people who live here in South Africa that are taking food off of the plate of
When you
ours.
see 75%, you always get a shot. You're like,
Yeah,
yo,
like how?
there's no money
Okay,
here.
I'm going to that
There's
addiction.
no money here.
Yeah,
Yes.
literally. That's going
Makeup,
there.
me getting there, doing this. And then
And then the emotional stress and the strain, and you like, and obsess about it.
something that you guys don't know as well.
Therapy, get a therapist. Yes.
You'll do this commercial. You will be there with them for 12 hours.
Yeah.
They'll tell you they're going to pay you 12 rand
Yeah.
for TV, media, because they break it up. TV, media, and print.
Yeah.
Hey, you're like, okay, cool, I'm going to get 12 rand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you get 50 cents.
And then my agent's going to take the 2 rand. Okay, I've got 10 rand coming up.
And then
they'll
tax.
say to you,
Yeah.
but actually the way we're cutting this commercial, you're
You might
actually
not even
only
be in it.
on the internet.
Yeah,
You're
you're
not
not
on
even in
TV
it.
anymore. So we're cutting
Yes,
6.
it's that
We're
now as
taking
well.
about,
Yeah.
from that 10 rand, we're taking about 4
Yeah.
of it.
Yeah.
No, you end up with 50 cents.
Literally.
Wasn't worth it. And
It
you
wasn't.
want to rip out your eyelashes,
On
rip
top of
out
it,
your
they
hair.
didn't even fetch you.
Yeah.
It
You gotta pay your rent
frustrates
at
me.
the
I'm
end of the
like,
month.
fetch
See,
me.
I don't mind being, I'm happy to drive. Like,
Yeah.
I'm okay with
You
it.
can
Like,
control
On
that.
that day.
because I can control it. And when I want to go,
Then you
like
can
when I'm
go,
done with the day,
Yeah.
I want to get in my car, go home,
go.
have a shower, eat something, go to bed, whatever, you know.
Because
Yeah.
But if you don't have transport,
make you
then
sit
how
for
are you
2
meant to
hours
get there?
waiting
You
for
meant
the
to
other
Uber?
That's, guys, come on.
Painful.
I feel like it's so simple.
No, there's problems. Ladies, we have problems. There are lots of problems.
So many.
But we need to, like I said, we need to kick the doors down and we need to change it.
And actually, we also need to be really firm in our nose. The more of us that crumble to the pressure or couch cast or whatever,
Oh, no, don't couch
being
cast.
friends in the background.
do that.
It always, it's
No,
gonna
no,
kill
don't.
you.
Stay off that couch. Stay off that couch.
Because
Do
once
not
you,
get on that
once
couch.
you decide that you're gonna not be on the couch, you'll be like, oh, wow,
Your
your couch is just that.
The only couch you're allowed to be on is your best friends crying, going,
Yes.
I don't know when I'm gonna get a
And
job.
sitting there
That's
with ice
fine.
cream.
Stay off the other one.
Yeah.
Right.
Right ones. Yeah. No.
I'm eating chips instead. I prefer salty to sweet, but one
I hate sweet
abs.
stuff. Yeah. I'm not
Sweets of the
Yeah,
best.
no.
Look
But
at me.
you're literally so right. Like, just stay off the couches. But you
Even
know,
if it
can I
seems
say
like you're not
something
getting-
that you mentioned earlier on? Which I think that's why people don't really want to express themselves. It's because once you stand out and like you singular yourself out and you're standing up for yourself, then they block you.
Yeah, you're scared you're going to get blacklisted.
Yeah.
I mean, having this
like-
conversation
like
now,
this.
I'm
We
sitting
might
there and I'm
get-
like, I'm afraid.
Yeah.
No, don't be mad
I'm
at
like,
us.
I'm afraid. I'm afraid.
Together.
But we're not.
Blacklist.
This isn't
We haven't said-
slander.
no,
We're
we
not
haven't.
saying anything that isn't true.
That
we
hasn't
just
happened.
we love
Yeah.
what we do in this industry. It could be so much better.
Yeah.
And I think
Yeah.
the more open and safe they'd make it for us, the better they would get.
Well, I also,
from
I
us,
don't,
really.
but I don't feel safe right now. I'm a little bit. I'm a little scared.
All right, it's a wrap.
No, but literally.
Tomorrow we're all blacklisted. Bye.
We're literally
It's
winding
your fault.
down.
It's your fault. It's your fault.
Oh no, we're blaming. We're blaming.
I'll take the blame.
Oh, your fault.
In fact, I'm gonna call my agent right after we say cut. I'm gonna be like,
Like,
Jerry.
I can't air that ever. Scrap
I
it.
can't.
Because I'm with OSM. I mean,
Oh, yes,
Jerry, I'm
Jerry,
so
Jerry.
scared. And then
I'm
she's on
also
the
very
phone with me for 45 minutes while I go
Anybody
into the
knows
panic.
me, ask Kissy. If anybody knows me, they know that I will stand in front of everybody and shout for us.
No, we must,
Every
but we must do it for each other.
Even if
Fight
it
for each
means
other.
somebody's gonna take me down. Even my friends know I'm that girl that screams at guys, get away! I'm that girl that says, I don't like this, I don't wanna do it. If I'm not, I wanna say, when you're in the shower by yourself, there's nobody, and you're thinking, how do you feel about yourself? Are you happy with the person that you're presenting yourself to be? That's all that will ever matter. I think
profound.
That's all that will ever matter.
Yeah.
When you sleep at night, are you happy with yourself? That's at the end of the day.
Yes, but I think a lot of people lie to themselves in order to get through the world. So,
That's why I say you have to be honest with yourself in that shower.
and also we got to stop being so cannibalistic. We've got to lean in. We're not here to tear each other down, and especially as women, when it's hard enough living in a patriarchal world, like we should be ruling.
Yeah. I don't
Because
know
if
how
we did,
got
there'd be
to
enough for
that.
everybody.
Yeah.
So I don't know what's. I can't figure out
We
what's in
need
the
the
way.
Bambanani tribe, but it's
Bambimba.
Taraji said the Bambimba tribe.
Where you hold each other accountable.
Yes.
And you stand in the middle and everyone tells you.
Yeah, you hold each other accountable and you hold each other up as well.
Yes.
You know, that's what we need
Especially
to
as
lean
women.
in.
Like, there are so many people trying to us from every corner. We are literally being pushed and squished and being put into competition with each other.
Yeah.
And
I know,
every
and it
time we
shouldn't
do
be.
things together, it's so good.
Yeah. Do you know how powerful we
It's
are as a
so
united?
good.
I mean, unite together, we can do anything.
I think once we stand together, it's amazing. I don't know who put this notion of having girls just be unnecessarily, I don't know if I can say this, bitchy to one another. Like, you just hate.
But,
Right.
but,
Why
but
are you looking
it's,
like
but
that?
it's systemic.
It's
It's,
before
it's
we were
economical.
born,
It's socio-political.
Yeah.
It's been since the beginning of time.
Before bras were being burnt, right? Like it's been.
It's unnecessary.
To
But
wrap this up, I want you to look at your camera and just give somebody advice that you wish you had, or something that you've learned along that you wish to impart to them. Yes.
Me specifically.
Everybody.
Which one is my camera? Hi, babies. I always stand by this, by stay resilient. There are going to be so many people who look down on you, who doubt you. You only have yourself to get to the next place where you want to be. So stay fighting for yourself, because nobody's going to have your back. Stay resilient.
100%, especially in this industry. The amount of no's you hear,
Yeah.
you need
yeah.
to push through.
So true.
Push through.
Get up 8.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
8.
Hello. I'm joking now. Hi, I think you should focus on being you, being unique, because there's only one you, and that's going to make you stand out and get everything that the universe owes you. So yeah, just be yourself and put your best foot forward, and you're bound to get it all right.
And I want to leave her for last, madam, just because you've been here when it was different
Because I'm older.
to what it is. I don't know why, if it's because you drink water and mind your business, but you
look amazing.
Hey,
You're gorgeous.
Thank you.
Hey.
Thank
Stunning.
you. My parents made me from scratch.
Yes.
Thanks.
Perseverance, resilience. Don't conform. Don't try to be anyone else that you're not. Be you. But also, those lines, that script, it's not about you. It's about this thing that a lot of people are putting together. You've got to let go of ego. You've got to do all the things to make the best version of the story you're all telling together. Don't forget, this is a family. It's like a watch. There are different cogs that move at the same time, and if one thing goes off, the clock stops working. We are all doing different things but for the same purpose, and it is always way bigger than just the individual.
Yeah.
So yes, persevere, be resilient, don't conform, but arrive.
Yeah.
Love it.
What an amazing first episode.
Well done, and well done for you on doing this.
Yes. So I really wanted a space where we could just chat
Yeah.
and laugh and rage. This is a love letter to the girls that in a world that seems like it's so against you, we are here. We are going to be together, and once we just remove this fog of fighting and wanting to be bitchy and all that, we are going to just take over in ways that we can never imagine.
Yeah.
So with this series, I hope to answer the questions that you guys give us in our DMs. I hope to answer questions you didn't even know you had. And I hope you see your favorite stars in a different light. Yeah, I love you guys. Mwah, mwah, mwah.